100 new routes along the East Coast that will end up saving passengers time, awesome, and fuel. Airlines will save fuel as well.
Commercial airline pilot Gary Baumgartner joins us now to walk us through the changes. Gary, thank you so much for joining us. First off, can you just walk us through the new optimized profile descents? What makes it different from the traditional descent that we're more used to?
Absolutely. Well, usually, and thanks for having me, usually when you come in on arrivals, you'll hit different fixes on your way down. And traditionally, you would see these as a staircase and level off. So you'd come down, drop down, bring in your power, level off, and then continue on down. With these new optimized descent profiles, what they're trying to do is basically save fuel and time and get them from the highest point to the lowest point with, the least amount of fuel used.
So it sounds like the passengers will notice a difference when the pilots use these descent techniques. I'm guessing it's a little smoother and perhaps less turbulent.
Well, it's not only the passengers, it's the people on the ground. We have, for example, when we started doing these in planes that are able to do this. So what I should mention is they tried this in Atlanta Airport a few years back, but the problem was some of the next gen, the new gen planes and the old gen planes wouldn't match. So there was problems with the air traffic control being able to do, certain planes could do them and certain planes couldn't, and it became a huge problem. But with airports such as Louisville, where UPS is, or Memphis is FedEx, and that have basically complete control of the airport, and especially at late hours at night for cargo, the people on the ground, the noise complaints would go way down.
Oh, there you go. That makes sense. Now, this new process will actually help aircrafts save on fuel. How does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just basically it'd be very similar to if you're driving a car and you're able to somehow time, if you lived at the bottom of a hill and you're able to let off the gas and cruise all the way down and roll into your driveway without using any more gas and just hitting the brake. So essentially what they're doing there, instead of having to, every time you level off, you have to bring that power up. So instead of doing that, you could be 300 miles back or so. And from what I've heard, you don't even have to bring your power up until the very end, right before you're going to land.
That sounds really good. Gary, let's talk about the new summer routes on the East Coast. What's different about them?
Well, the thing, if you look at the actual charts, and the FAA actually just released these charts and they show the before and after, it's not so much about the distance, it's about the time. And without going too technical, we have things called VORs that help us, or that they're able to navigate. And as the technology gets better, we're actually decommissioning some of these VORs. They send off frequencies and see it as invisible highways in the air. And as they do that, they're able to take time and distance off some of these routes and able to, just become more efficient. And so that's what the FAA is doing right now, is they're just constantly looking for better ways to become more efficient so that, it's just better to save fuel, time, and it's better for everyone.
So are those routes, the new ones, are they weather dependent? I mean, will they evolve a little bit depending on, whether or not there's a squall line or a thunderstorm's in the way?
No, not too much, because nobody can really predict the weather, as you know. Well, I mean, you guys can, but for the most part, we can't actually know where the weather's going to be for these routes. So that weather, when weather comes, that's our version of an audible that we have to play it, as it comes. But as far as the routes go, to my knowledge, has nothing to do with the actual, weather.
Now, these new routes, are this a permanent change or something that's just going to be used during the busy summer travel season?
No, they're permanent as far as I know. And keep in mind, every time we go, there's several routes that we're able to take. So it doesn't mean it's every time you're going to take this new route. It's just that we're constantly refining and looking for more efficient ways to go. And as I said, with these VORs decommissioning, now we're getting more satellite, more GPS technology. That's going to allow us to just be more efficient.
All right, more efficiency, saving time, smoother landings. I'm all for it.
Saving fuel.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of benefits here, sounds like it, right?
Gary Baumgartner, commercial airline pilot, thank you so much for explaining all of that to us.
Yeah, that's